Hello everyone, and thank you so much for having us here today. Now I know people usually tell you to put your cell phones away while other people are doing a presentation, but we actually want you to pull your cell phones out so you can follow along while we talk about Swob. Now just a quick question for you. Who here has a part-time job? Okay, nice. Well, today we're going to talk about our journey on how and why we started Swob, and then we're going to show you a demonstration. Just a little bit about me. I went to York University where I studied business and society, and I specialized in law and communications, and I fell in love with the communication side. After York University, I went on to Seneca College where I studied creative advertising. Within this program, we worked with many different companies and created various different advertising campaigns. I loved this program because I felt like I was working every day instead of being at school. After graduating Seneca College, I went on to work at 2 different advertising agencies. And I worked on brands like Tresemme, Basel, and Degree. But I always knew that I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I just never knew what that was going to be. And that is until Swob was born.
And so, like Stephanie, we both like to joke around that I copied her path. She's the older sibling out of the 2 of us, as you could probably tell. But I also studied at York University, except I studied sociology because for the longest time I thought I wanted to be a teacher. But as more time passed, I realized that this was not the path for me. So when I graduated from York, I had to make a decision on what I wanted to do next. And I've always had an interest in marketing, and my passion is and always will be sports. And I remember thinking, well, if I can combine my interests of marketing with my passion of sports, that it would be a really cool career opportunity for me. So when I graduated York, I made the decision to then go and study marketing at Seneca College. And when I graduated from Seneca, I was eager, I was excited, I was ready to go to work. And I ended up getting hired as an intern at an agency in the city that works with a lot of really cool sports-related brands. So when I started, I loved it. And like Stephanie, I too also always wanted to be an entrepreneur. And it's funny, if you had asked me at that time that I'd eventually start a business with my sister, I would have called you crazy, yet here we are. But fast forward a little bit in my role, and I was starting to lose my passion. I wasn't enjoying it anymore, and I began getting frustrated and looking for other opportunities in the industry. And it was really that frustration that inspired the idea for Swob. I remember applying to a variety of roles, thinking that there needed to be an easier way to do this. Now, at the time, I can admit that I was using Tinder, and then I kind of thought, well, what if there was like a Tinder for jobs? And so I remember speaking to Stephanie about the idea, and we both knew it was something unique and that it was something we wanted to pursue. But we thought a few different things. Who would we build this for, and what could we do to make it different and unique compared to all the others? Now, being marketing people, we knew we wanted to keep our branding lighthearted, fun, and different from everybody else. And then another thing we were thinking of was the name. What would we call this? We spent many nights brainstorming different ideas, debating back and forth, and then it finally kind of just hit us. Swob. It was easy to remember, it's got meaning, it's swipe and job combined, and so we both pretty much knew at the time that this was going to be the name. So once we had our branding and our name down, we thought again, who are we going to make this for? So before we launched, we spent a year doing testing, and in that year, we met with over 5,000 young job seekers. We held focus groups. We met with our friends, our family. We even stopped people in the mall who we saw handing out resumes to really learn about the pain points that they're experiencing when they're applying to jobs. And on the employer side, we met with companies like McDonald's Canada and Recipe, which works with companies like Swiss Chalet and Montana's, to really learn their pain points when they're hiring for these high turnover roles. And for us, we were surprised to learn that with all of these young job seekers, the #1 way on how they would apply to jobs was through printing out resumes and handing them out one by one, not even knowing who's hiring. So once we had all of our feedback, we actually built our website and we released the app in November of 2017. And now, since launching, you're probably wondering, how do we start this and how do we fund this? Because starting a business certainly isn't easy, and nor is it cheap. Now, we were fortunate that we had some great support from friends and family along the way, but we also used personal savings, and we also took advantage of every resource that was available to us, things like government grants and pitch competitions. Now, to date, Swob is available for both iPhone and Android users. We have over 18,000 users across Ontario, Alberta, and BC, and we're working with companies like McDonald's, Cactus Club, Tim Hortons, just to name a few. And in May of 2018, Swob was named the first ever Canadian company to win Richard Branson's Pitch to Rich contest. But now you've heard me speak, and you're probably thinking, well, how does this app even work? So Stephanie's going to take you through it and show you just how easy it is.
Okay, so if you have a phone, you can download Swob free in either the App Store or Google Play Store. And I am going to take you through the app. So first we have a welcome screen. So this just introduces you to how Swob works. Then we ask you to create a profile. So here you're going to put in your name, your email, and your phone number. Then we ask a few screening questions. So we wanted to make everything click through because we really want your user experience to be as easy and simple as possible. Because if you're going to use something that's too complicated, you're not going to want to use it again. So we ask, are you legally eligible to work in Canada? Yes. How old are you? We have age ranges here. Then we ask, how many hours are you available each week? So in my profile, I put down 25. When are you available to work? Is it weekends, evenings, anytime? So you select what best fits your profile. Then we have, what's your highest level of education completed to date? So in my profile, I have university, and I put the institutions below. So York University and Seneca College. Then we have a list of volunteer hours, and we ask you, how many volunteer hours have you completed to date? Then we have a list of strengths, and we just ask you to choose your top 3. So in my profile, I have organized, ambitious, and hardworking. Then we ask, what's your work experience? So is it none, 1 to 2 years, 3+? Again, this is your profile, so you select what best fits your profile. Then we ask you to upload your resume. So the reason why we ask you to upload your resume is because we want to give employers as much information up front as possible. So you can upload your resume through either Dropbox, iCloud, or even a PDF. Then we ask you to put in your postal code, which will help filter jobs in your area. Because like Alex mentioned, when we were speaking to over 5,000 young job seekers, something that was really frustrating for them was the fact that they would print out resumes, hand them out, and not even know who's hiring. With Swob, we're showing you the jobs available to you in your area. 2 clicks. Then we ask you, what are you looking for? Is it part-time or full-time? And what industry do you want to be in? Is it retail, food service? So again, you select what applies to you. And then once you're finished your profile, jobs will then appear. So that's going to be the profile that we're going to use to apply to a job. So now we're going to apply to a job together. All right, Tim Hortons. I don't think I want to work there, so I'm going to swipe left. Maybe I need to click it again. Okay, well then I guess we're going to do this now. So what happens is, similar to Tinder's functionalities, if you do not want to apply to a job, you would swipe left. And if you do want to apply to a job, you would swipe right. So once you swipe right, the entire profile that you've just created on Swob has then been sent to the employer and you've applied to a job. So just to reiterate, you could download Swob free in the App Store or the Google Play Store. You create a quick profile, upload your resume, then we ask you to put in your postal code to help filter jobs in your areas, and then, again, similar to Tinder's functionalities, if you do not want to apply to a job, you swipe left, and if you do want to apply to a job, you swipe right. Okay, now I want everyone to stand up, and if you have somebody beside you, you guys gotta stand up, stand up, stand up. And if you have someone beside you, give them a high five because you just learned about a new way to apply to a job on Swob. Thank you so much for listening to our presentation and best of luck on your journeys.
Thank you.
Thank you.